Hello and welcome to the UTI Mutual Fund Swatantra series powered by ET Now. You know that this is an ongoing investor education initiative. The idea behind this entire series is to help you understand your finances better, choose your products better, and of course get rich over the long term. We've gone from section to section. We've talked to young parents, we've talked to doctors, and today we have a very, very interesting set of audience members in the studio with me. These are small business owners, these are proprietors, these are entrepreneurs, these are people who are working very hard to create strong businesses of their own, and we want to make sure that their finances are also just as strong. And we will take questions from all of our audience members, but if you at home have a question for us, you know there's a website at which you can reach us, indiainvestkaro.com. That's at the bottom of your screen. You can also tweet out a question, #InvestKaro, and it'll be our pleasure to either have you in the studio or answer your question on the show. To help me answer all of these questions this week, I have two wonderful guests in the studio. R. Raja is the head of product at UTI AMC. And Ashish Goel is from Vista Wealth Consultants.
The business.
You know, Ashish, normally when we give people advice on investing their money, we tell them to be very clear about what sort of return you're expecting and what sort of risk you're taking on. But for this particular set of people, the liquidity aspect is also going to be very important. Can I access this money in 2 days? Can I access it in 3 days? You know, real estate, for example, I can't access for 6 months to a year. So how important is it for me to understand liquidity of any instrument when I'm picking it out?
First, I would like to put more stress how to differentiate between the both, because until unless we are not able to differentiate whether this money which I have, let's say surplus, is my business money or my personal wealth, because the treatment is totally different. Let's say any money which is allocated for business and might be used for business, the liquidity is very, very important, because it might be needed any few days. Then that investment has to go in some liquid kind of funds, or maybe remain in current account, or maybe small term deposits. But if it is your personal wealth and you have kept as a personal wealth, and there are ways and means by which it can be kept separate, then that money has to be invested in keeping your personal goal in mind, which can be your retirement, your child's education, higher education money, maybe your daughter's marriage, or there are a lot of other things also. So if business wealth, it has to be very liquid, because you might need anything. If it is personal wealth, it have to go in a better avenues where liquidity should not be the concern, but achieving that goal is the prime concern that time. Then liquidity is not concern. But if you divide it well, then only you can do it. If you don't divide it well, probably you have to keep it every time liquid. Then the return maximization prospect is not that high, because if you keep the money liquid, the return will be less.
If you compromise on liquidity and risk, then you have to expect lower returns. I just want to do a show of hands for the people in this room. How many of you have personal health insurance policies? Okay, that's a great number. Life insurance policies, adequately 10 times annual income? Excellent. You're a very organized group of people. Retirement planning that is separate from the business that you're running right now, that you're investing in on a regular basis.
So you mean to say that you're talking about a retirement
policies or an investment that you put aside for your retirement? How many of you have retirement plans? Okay, that's an abysmal number, and that's something we should worry about, because every salaried person has a compulsory PF deduction, whether they like it or not. They're being forced to save for their retirement, and as soon as you break away from that group, then it's your responsibility to make sure that you're saving a portion of every salary, or every portion of income that comes in needs to go towards your own retirement, irrespective of how the business is doing. That's not something we can compromise on. I would like to open the floor up to questions. You have a question on the front. Go ahead.
Yeah, I have a question here. Actually, how would you define the risk actually from the perspective of an investor?
It is not me to define, you have to, it is a customer has to see whether that his investment is available for which term, first of all, and at what rate of interest he wants to grow. Let's say suppose you are planning for your retirement, and which is, let's say 20 years, or let's say 25 years, or maybe 15 years back from now, then you can take probably risk more, and the growth rate should be high. Suppose let's say you are going from here to Mumbai, you have to go either by flight, or you go by plane. But if you are going to Europe, then you have no option but to go by. But we don't understand these small things in our daily day-to-day work. When we plan for our goals, so let's say goal is far, we have to take a vehicle which have more speed. If we take the vehicle which has more speed, we will reach the goal early. But if we keep thinking of risk in short term, then we will not able to take that vehicle. So it is a time horizon and the rate of interest required to reach the goal. Because let's say if most of the times, if the client see my retirement is this, and if we keep investing in let's say safe and debt instrument without taking the risk, he will not probably reach that destination. So it is depends on the personal requirements more and which vehicle he wants to take to reach that destination.
The mutual fund will start launching those products.
Is there another question? Yes.
My question to you is, why mutual funds sound so risky? And what point should be taken care of before choosing any product? And how to depend on any advisor?
Ashish, you want to take that?
Yeah, I'll take that. So why they give that disclaimer, कि it is subject to market risk is, so we don't want anybody to misguide, you know. So it's a very transparent industry and it is very clearly we want to show and articulate everything very clearly. It is, there are some risk involvement in it and person should read those risks and, you know, also understand how to mitigate that risk. That is first part. So it is why it is said, because it has some risk and we want to be very transparent, and we are proud to say our industry is the most transparent industry we can vouch for. It is one of the most transparent industry. Now coming to your question, which is how to choose mutual fund, you know, I think it has one layer before, you know, before choosing the mutual fund, you know, you have to choose one good advisor also, trusted advisor, who can help you to choose mutual fund according to your need, requirement and risk profiling and your goals, and which answers the questions, you know, where should I invest for my pension fund? Because, you know, we have seen people plan more for their vacation and then they don't plan for their life planning. Yeah. So once you have good advisor, they can tell you which is your, let's say, short-term requirement and which instrument should be taken, which is your long-term goals like your retirement and all, and for which instrument should be taken and what are the risks involved. And then it becomes very easy to choose the funds because he's in a way mentoring you to understand what are the basic things involved in it. If you don't have an advisor with you who can guide you, then it becomes slightly complicated because there are so many products. Then you have to basically understand first the concept. What are the concept and which is suitable to my needs.
My question is also the same thing. What are the key parameters one has to take care before investing any money, his hard-earned money, on any mutual fund? You are saying that appoint a good advisor. Again, advisor will sold only those things which has been forced to sold him.
Suppose you want to marry, so I'll answer in a different way. You want to marry, let's say, your daughter. You know, how will you find a good match? You will do a lot of things, you know, background, reference check, some, let's say, if he's doing job, so you will also have, you know, in that fashion, it's very, you know, simple thing. Sometimes it becomes, so we have a pre-mindset in our mind, that advisor will have some targets. It's not like that, you know. So it's good you all have that feeling. So I feel my business prospects are very much because everybody feels that way, so you can have a lot of customers. So try to understand first. One is anybody who has legacy, for how long he's been doing the business. That is one part, you know, some testimonial to show. Then infrastructure, what infrastructure they have. Then whether they have online facility to show you transparency, can they show the portfolio, team, whether they have team or not. So we have a checklist for ourselves also. So whenever we meet new clients, so we give that checklist to the client. See whether you choose your advisor first very diligently and carefully by that checklist. And if we also qualify in that, choose us. Otherwise, find better one for yourself.
So it's actually like hiring someone and giving him instructions like you would do in your business. So you have to be very clear also about what you want. You can't leave it all to the advisor. All right, I'm told we have to take another very quick break, but don't go anywhere. This very interesting conversation will continue after the break. Welcome back. You're watching the UTI Mutual Fund Swatantra series. Thank you for staying with us. We have a lot of questions that we like to get through on this show.
Benefit in the long run.
Actually, Ashish, for someone who runs their own business, it's not a salary. I might not get the same amount of money coming in month on month. Then making a commitment to an investment saying, I will commit this much every month might become a little bit challenging. So what advice do you give someone who doesn't have a regular steady income that, that can be relied on? If I have a fluctuating income, how do I pick an SIP?
Then in that case, we suggest to have a systematic transfer plan, let's say. So suppose somebody is doing, let's say we suggest according to goal, he has to do a retirement SIP for let's say 15,000 rupees a month, and he don't have that regular income coming in, and per yearly in the year the income will definitely come. So what we can do is we can park the amount in liquid fund whenever that surplus is available, and from there we can do the systematic transfer plan to the equity fund. But definitely we feel that when it gets transferred, the money will be locked in for long period of time, then only we will suggest equity. So we can do first invest the base scheme which is safe, liquid, and then from there we can do the systematic transfer. And he keeps filling that. It's like a big water tank which we keep filling, and from that water tank we can keep withdrawing slowly and steadily.
All right. The gentleman in the front, go ahead.
Hi, my name is Puneet. My specific question to Ashish, supposedly assuming that me personal and my business, if we have a surplus fund of rupees 2 crores, so what do you suggest me to invest in? Is it a property which gives me a good rental, or mutual funds, or any kind of other options?
Couple of things you have to consider with real estate: maintenance, tax, there's property tax on it. You'll have to manage that rental, so you have to bring in a tenant, you have to make sure that the tenant is comfortable, painting. There's a lot of things that have to happen with real estate, and it's not as liquid as you think. It takes a year, close to 6 months to a year, to sell real estate. None of those things apply to a mutual fund. But if you were to choose like that, and I still think you should have a goal before you make your choice, how would you recommend you make that choice?
First of all, you said your personal and business wealth cumulative has 2 crores. I will.
Correct.
First of all, I would like to understand what is the requirement of that fund. How much time you have. First thing is divide that wealth mentally at least, which is my personal wealth and which is my business wealth. It will help you, because if it is your business money and you want that money to be pumped back sometime soon in the business, then probably let's say you can't park in real estate.
No, if not.
You don't require that money?
No.
You have long-term
long-term
availability of that money with you. Now, if you have long-term money available with you, to what do you want with? You want regular income immediately, or you want to build regular income for your retirement?
Somehow I feel that if I invest it in a real estate, it will give me a regular income of rental as well as the appreciation. Somehow I feel that. I don't know how true is it.
You are talking about the reward right now. You will have regular income also. So if you are talking about, let's say, commercial real estate or
Commercial.
What rate of interest do you think you will be able to generate from commercial real estate?
Apart from the appreciation of the property,
Just the rental income.
just the rental income maybe about 8% per annum.
8% is quite aggressive.
Yeah, it is aggressive.
Quite aggressive
Yeah.
right now. So I'll just give you some example of Mumbai. So Nariman Point was the D location.
Correct.
Now BKC coming in. Parel coming in, what I have heard, and I've seen many buildings which are 50% empty. Now think of those guys who are getting, so high rentals from them, and now the 50% of the buildings are empty. What will happen to their financial planning and their family income if the 50% of the buildings in Nariman Point, which is supposed to be the best commercial location in India, is 50% of the building empty? Because, you cannot think the real estate will keep giving the returns regularly, because the smarter buildings are coming. This is a smarter building. Probably much more smarter building will come, and every corporate will like to go there. And normally it comes in the suburbs, and the cost of land is also. So there are chances the corporate will also like to move to the suburb and reduce their rental cost. As of now, India, the rental costs are the top 5 to 10 cities in world. So you have to rethink on those lines also.
All right, unfortunately, we've completely run out of time, and I've been told to wrap up the show. But thank you so much for coming in. We should stay after the show is over and continue to chat. Gentlemen, it's been a pleasure to chat with you. Thank you so much for watching. Remember, if you have a question for us, indiainvestkaro.com or #InvestKaro on Twitter. It'll be my pleasure to hear from you. Thanks so much for watching.
Brought to you by UTI Mutual Fund. हक एक बेहतर जिंदगी का.
Mutual fund investments are subject